What's going on YouTube? James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey, April 27th. Bringing you along for an update. It's more like a food forest update because a lot of the things are all set up, the framework of it. Got most of the perennials in, a lot of the fruit trees, and even the annuals are doing well so far. So I'm going to bring you guys along for an update so you know how things are coming along. A lot of the trees have done well. Most of the stone fruits are flowered, and some of them are still flowering. A bunch of the peach trees, the Santa Rosa plum did alright. Peach tree back there, apple tree, the 5-grafted apple tree. I'll go around and show you a few of them, not all of them though, because this will turn into like a 20-minute video. I'm trying to keep it relatively short, although it never seems to work out like that. I'll start you over here with the corn patch. This was something I was a little worried about with the frost, but it turned out doing great. Corn's doing real well. You can see I did about 4 rows, and then in some spots where I could fit the 5th row, that's what I did. I did them in more of a row pattern because I realized last year corn can't just be thrown out dispersed like that. It's got to be grouped together more. Then I have all cucumbers between the rows. Pretty consistent with the cucumbers. Planted a lot of them. Hoping to use the cucumbers as a ground cover also to deter the raccoons. Then on the outside I also have zucchini, green zucchini planted because the raccoons just hate that, the pointy stems. They're prickly for them. So that's good, and then you can see a nice thick border of calendulas. I really enjoy that flower. It's good for many uses too. And there's marigolds in here too, but they haven't popped up. Then on the other side I also have zucchini planted there to keep the raccoons away. Then for the entrance in the garden coming this way, I have this thick patch right here. This is all different kinds of flowers, really thick with all different kinds of flowers. Hopefully to draw in pollinators like bees and any beneficial insects into the garden. They'll kind of flying by, see it, and then come over here and then hopefully enter into the rest of the garden. So that's the idea. Over here is potatoes. I don't see anything coming up yet. I've dug that lower to help keep a good amount of water. Then I'll hill it up as the potatoes get bigger. This patch right here is basically the main crop is green zucchini. You can see over here. That's basically green zucchini, and there's radishes mixed in to get that root yield, and also to help bring in some bees. I'll let some of the radishes flower. And then there's also beans and peas and stuff. So help bring in beneficial insects everywhere. Then I have like flowers, always bordering on the outsides. Same thing in here. I have radishes as ground cover. Borders with flowers, calendulas, and borage you can see. And then there's peppers in here. I haven't really seen any peppers coming up yet. I guess the ground's just not warm enough yet. There's also some carrots as a ground cover too, mixed with the radishes. Here is geared heavily towards tomatoes. You can see a lot of the tomatoes in here. It's thick like that basically throughout, consistently with the tomatoes. If I want 20 tomato plants, I'll plant 200 seeds, and then I'll thin out and keep the healthiest 20. This way I get to choose the healthiest 20 out of 200 rather than being stuck with 20 seeds if I plant 20 seeds being stuck with 20 plants. That's like one of the styles I like to do. Here is, I believe, eggplant. I haven't seen that many come up yet, but there's carrots that have come up. There's down there is basil that's come up. I see borage is coming up. And I've got watermelons along the outside, which will which will vine out into the walkway, hopefully to get that extra yield. Use that space. In here is maybe peppers, I can't remember exactly, but they haven't come up yet. Mostly just the borages and the calendulas. And this looks like cilantro also on the outside. Here's a cilantro seed. I love the cilantro. I eat that stuff just fresh. Just cilantro, eat it like back from the stem, man, it's good. Here's more tomatoes in here. Doing well also. So this is kind of just the beginnings of the food forest, but think it's nice to see it in the beginning like this, so you can see in a month or two this should be blown up, really actually looking like a food forest. Here's a tree we got last year. All these trees were put in here last year, basically. This is a Santa Rosa palm, and to let you guys know, hopefully give you a little inspiration. You don't have to have a lot of money to do something like this with the food forest. We got most of these trees, besides about 2 of them, for a real cheap price. We got them like $7-8 a tree. We went in the fall when everything was on clearance, when they were getting ready to throw everything out, and we picked up most of these trees. Most of them made it. We got about 20 of them. I think we only lost about 2 of them, and it was worth the cost, because regular price these things are, $30, but we got them for about $7 or $8. And like I said, most of them have done well. There's a Red Delicious apple's got some blooms. Here's a peach. Looks like a Bella Georgia. Got blooms. I think it got pollinated. I saw bumblebees in here working the other day, doing well. Here's a nice polyculture back here of lettuce, broccoli, peas, beans, all different kinds of things, cilantro, radishes. So it's done well. And I have a little trellis for the peas going, which should work. This side of the hugel was planted earlier than the other side. There's another peach and another apple tree. Right there is a moon glow pear, a circular pear. Another thing we got for real cheap. Here's a nice polyculture of tomatoes as the herbaceous kind of layer. Then we've got watermelon growing on the ground to vine out, uses a ground cover, and then carrots for root crop, and then we've got borders of calendulas, flowers. Almost all the beds I have are bordered with calendulas, marigolds, borages, to help bring in pollinators and help to kind of distract insects from knowing exactly what's growing in there. This is another one of tomatoes. I planted densely. I planted a lot of tomatoes this year because we like them a lot. Easy to store, and they're just a good fruit. Here's a tree I actually picked up yesterday. We've got about 5 peach trees, but we don't have leaf curl resistant ones, and I was talking to my neighbor. He said we get leaf curl pretty bad here, so we picked up a variety that was leaf curl resistant naturally, which is cool. So it's got a lot of blooms on it. The strawberry patch is doing well. Got some flowers. I'll give you a little tour of that. Golden Delicious apple, peach, 5 grafted apple trees doing real well. Here's the big cherry, bunch of flowers. Strawberries everywhere in the ground. To get different varieties now too. That's a sequoia. Strawberry should be sending runners soon. There's the 5 grafted apple trees doing well. Some of the grafts are just covered with blooms. This one over here, I think it's the Granny Smith. Yeah, Granny Smith is just painted with the red blooms. It's even heavy just from the blooms, so I know I'm going to have to go through and take off some of the apples, a bunch of them. But it's just nice to see that the tree's doing well. That's one of the trees we bought at full price. Peas are doing good over here. Over here we got a nice big blackberry bush we cut down. Looks like it's sending out some runners over here, so hopefully this should be pretty thick with blackberry soon. Then this is all just garlic planted that I had in my fridge. Organic garlic we had, it just started sprouting in the fridge, so we just planted it, and it's done well. Grapes along the back too. Some of these are starting to wake up. Looks like a Catawba grape. Another thing we got end of the season for just super cheap, almost giving them away. Another grape here, another one just given away at the end of the season. Then there's raspberries in here also. And then I cut up that blackberry bush, stuck it in the ground, so I'm hoping to get some clones from it. Some of them do look like they're doing it right. One like this one. Blueberry bush is doing good. This is over here a nice polyculture of a lot of cucumbers to grow up the fence, and then some watermelons to vine out, beans to grow as a herbaceous layer, and then a root crop of radishes. Here's another apple tree, I believe. It's Golden Delicious. Another peach tree. There's a Burbank plum right there. And then back there, I'll show you the Montmorency cherry, one of our top ones. This is something I planted too early. Frost got it a little bit, but that's alright. I'm going to kind of wait on a little bit and then plant some other things in here so I can get more of a succession style planting, staggering the planting a little bit. So I'm not getting all harvest just at one time. Comfrey's doing pretty good under there. Other Comfrey's not doing as great, but the one over there is doing great. Here's another variety of strawberries, Ozark Beauty. Just another thing we got for really cheap at the end of the season. Just picked up a raspberry the other day. It just looked too good to not get it. $10 right there. I mean, that's just going to be going crazy. Here's the Montmorency cherry. This is one of the trees that we have the most hope for this year. As long as the birds don't get crazy on it, I think we're going to get some cherries. Then I've got a bunch of raspberries here because my neighbor had shoots growing from his raspberries. He was picking them out, so he actually gave them to me. So I've got about 15 raspberry starts. Should be turning into plants soon. Got a bunch in pots, more over here, and then a number behind me also. And then here's a lot of flowers in here. This is that same idea. A lot of flowers in here, so once the bees go and see the flowers in there, work in there, hopefully they'll see the flowers in here. That'll draw them into the garden, so they'll kind of be all surrounded by plants, doing all the work in here, get lost in here, because this is just going to be an oasis for bees. Then this front side of the hugelkultur mound is planted, but it hasn't come up yet. A lot of tomatoes and watermelons and stuff, and then you guys know I just have apple tree seedlings everywhere. It's already getting long. I'm going to try to cut it soon, but this just always happens. There's always so much to show. Here's a 3-grafted pear tree, all with the Asian varieties my neighbor actually got for us for helping out doing some work. Some of the varieties have started flowering and doing real well, but the thing looks healthy. Here's a Queen 8 variety of strawberry right there. And a bunch of onions scattered throughout. I'm always doing that, trying to confuse pests. Here's our best apple tree from seedling. This one's second year, and it's a beast. It's doing real well. There's a lot of other apple trees just sprinkled in throughout. Every day I walk around, I find another one because we just threw so many seeds out. More over there. I'm going to try to... Then there's our carrots that are going to be going to seed this year. We saved them in the ground, so we've got a number of carrots throughout that are going to be going to seed. Peas along here, and then more grapes. Niagara grape here, getting ready to bloom. And then another Catawba grape here. These grapes are doing the best at the entrance. There's more to show, but I gotta wrap it up. I'm already making the video too long. So another grape right there doing real well. So things are coming along, things are doing good. Like I said, a month or so, this is really gonna look like a food forest. I'm hoping to make people not be able to see me from inside the house, from the second story. This is just gonna be like a nice little getaway from the urban environment here. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for following along. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. If not, let me know why. Any ideas you guys have or anything, shout it out at me, because I always love learning something new. To give you a peek at some of the strawberries before I go that are starting to flower. So that's always a good sign, knowing you're getting strawberries soon. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for following along. James Prigione's out.